the fact that the Navy can't decide on a uniform, it looks like the Marine Corps is hopping on board as they're reverting back on some decisions that have been in effect before, but now it's kind of with applied common sense. As you guys may or may not know, USMC stands for uncomplicated made complicated. That's what they specialize in. But this is a jam-packed story with multiple stories in it, so I'm bringing you more today. Make sure you guys like the video, all that good stuff. Subscribe if you haven't. If not, you're just lurking, okay? But this might be a common sense approach that we're finally seeing on the horizon. It says effective immediately and no later than 1st October, all units assigned to 29 Palms, got it, and exercise forces participating in or supporting service level training will transition to Desert Marpat sleeves down year-round on the Combat Center as the daily seasonal uniform. The waiver to the Marine Corps Order 1020.34X will remain in effect permanently or until canceled by the commanding general. This uniform change is not applicable to the Blue Side Navy. Ha! Get effed. I wanted to explain the Blue Side Navy Corpsman thing. That's because there's a lot of people that are Green Side Corpsmen that have had the Marpats like this we're showing here, and a lot of them are going to want to wear that uniform. However, because they are at a Navy command such as a hospital over at 29 Palms, they're not going to be entitled to the same organizational wear as these Marine Corps units are. So that's what they're getting into here. And says if your organization cannot, make your transition, route this up as to why, and then they'll address it. This is hilarious because the Marine Corps has battled this. They had the woodlands, which were in effect for half the year, then the deserts. Then they had, this uniform only for the deployment times, essentially, which everybody went to woodlands. And there's a lot more history there. I'm not going to go down every single one of them, but just know they've been flip-flopping for years at this point. This makes me think a general might have the itch to make a new uniform change, as they've had this for a couple decades now, and someone might need to earn a paycheck. But that is where I have to say this makes sense. 29 Palms, the land of the desert, the land of tan. Woodlands didn't make sense, but I want to say overall, I would appreciate if the Marine Corps just said, we will break this up by region, and that will be what we do, because they had sleeves up, sleeves down, all at the same time. Whether you're in a place that's super cold, such as New York or whatever else, and you're a Marine up there, you were sleeves up at this March timeline, where people in Hawaii were finally getting some relief of that. And then now we're seeing something make sense. Let me know what you think. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Let me know down in the comments below. Where do you think we should go with this? Next off here, we have the U.S. Army coming out with another commercial. As you guys may or may not remember, they were criticized over the quotations woke commercial of Emma that was out there, and she had 2 moms. And now they've kind of pivoted in other ways, but it's gone a much more traditional route, and this is what it shows.
What do you expect from that first job out of college? Working your way up from the bottom? Wondering when you'll get any real responsibilities? Instead, how does this sound? Starting in a guaranteed leadership position with people who look to you for guidance because you're trained to give it, and make important decisions in critical situations. Skip entry level. Decide to lead as an Army officer.
I can't help but laugh at this commercial. We have a Army lieutenant in this commercial that is doing land nav at some point, and I'm like, they don't mention getting lost in this, but that should be part of the advertisement here. On top of that, they're saying skip entry level. Being a second lieutenant in the Army, you are going to be entry level. You will be trusted to tie your shoes, feed yourself, and maybe take a couple notes behind a seasoned captain. But other than that, I don't think you're going to see much of a skip of entry-level positions. Now, granted, I do want to say the pay for an officer jumping from 01 all the way to 03 about that timeline is going to see significant pay raises. So eventually, in a very short time, they will get there. I believe that they will be thrust in that position. But to say you skipped the line is kind of a little bit of a stretch. And it's funny because we're seeing as the extremes of stuff that people were talking about with the gaming stuff for recruiting, and now we're seeing this. It's like they've gone traditional, but I still don't think it's going to reach an audience that's like, that is me. That's just my personal opinion. I think going with a more raw, unproduced footage type feel might actually be better take than going this route. And we move on to our final story that I just for some reason didn't get to cover because it wasn't enough meat on the bone. But let's cover it today as I think it's important because I think there's a lot of junior guys out there that are going to be mad they can't stack their little ribbon rack as fast as possible. And that's because the global war on terrorism is coming to an end. It's official. I'm surprised this news didn't come sooner. It says here on military.com, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal won't be handed out to everyone anymore. Oh no. We're going to have to earn our keep and earn our ribbons like every other country that doesn't just hand them out like crazy. I know the British are out there. I know you guys in the foreign militaries are going to be like, the U.S. hands out ribbons for everything, but let's break it down. Says here the Department of Defense will no longer issue the Global War on Terrorism Medal to all service members, ending a 2-decade period during which the award was given to everyone in the ranks to signify America's involvement in Iraq and Afghanistan. The medal isn't going away, it's just becoming more selective. Starting September 11th, 2022, a very interesting date, a service member must have worked directly for a counterterrorism operation for at least 30 days to receive the award. Now, this is interesting because we're looking at like a time period where, you know, anyone that came in the military was waiting for that 6-month time period and waiting for their official service record to actually show that they could wear this thing. And it was like the signal of you're a boot, but not that boot. And the people that didn't wear this were essentially the people that were in for a little bit longer. But, you know, with all these special boot camp ribbons and stuff like that we're seeing now, I mean, it's pretty easy to point out how boot you are. It says these changes were prompted by the DoD based on the withdrawal of combat troops from Afghanistan and the mission in Iraq now being an advise/assist train mission, Army Major Charlie Dietz, a Pentagon spokesman, told military.com. And I'm actually not mad about this because it's another 75 cents you don't have to spend. I would also add to that, like, a lot of people were doing jobs that did involve supporting the global war on terror, but they weren't actually directly involved with, like, day-to-day operations where I think that was the intent of this. And when it first came out, I think a lot of people probably were more directly impactful on that. But as time has gone on, it kind of just became like a here's a cookie, here's a participation award, and kind of similar to the national defense where it's like, oh, I got this out of boot camp and that was it. So from my perspective on this, I'm okay with it going away. I don't think it was a make or break of anything. And I think the people that actually did contribute to this did probably have a campaign ribbon such as Afghanistan or Iraq, and obviously that would probably be more standing or of a greater presentation of what their contributions were during this time period. But you know I have a lot of veterans out there that have earned this along with other campaign medals as well. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, along with the other stories that we've covered here, because we're seeing a change in the era and I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are. But as always, if you guys have other stories you want me to cover, hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.